Crypto scams are everywhere these days. Today, I talk about some of the worst ones in history that cost investors billions of dollars, sent people to jail, and even got the president's Twitter account hacked. Now, we gotta get the obvious one out of the way first.
What's up, Bitconnect?
I'm just gonna pause this. I think you get the idea. Most people have seen this video of Carlos Matos, the man who made tens of thousands of dollars off the Bitconnect cryptocurrency and shouted his heart out about it on stage before just months later losing everything. But most people don't know the story behind Bitconnect. Why did it fail? Well, let's talk about the basics of Bitconnect first. First, we have the Bitconnect coin. You'd buy it using Bitcoin, transfer it to your Bitconnect wallet, and just by holding the coin in your wallet, you'd earn interest. This is a process known as staking and is used by legitimate coins to allow users to earn passive income and secure the network. Although most come with some sort of coin lockup period where you can't use your coins until it's over, which I couldn't seem to find on Bitconnect's staking page. Most coins also only offer a 5, 10, maybe even 15% yearly return for doing so, but Bitconnect offered a whopping 120%.
What the f?
Users could also lend out their Bitconnect to Bitconnect's trading bot, a piece of software that would use their coins to essentially day trade cryptocurrency. They estimated that users could earn around 1% interest daily. There's plenty of trading bots out there right now on the internet that you could sign up for, but none of them boast returns that high. Actually, most of them don't even make money. Now, unlike the staking platform, your coins would be locked up anywhere from 4 months to nearly a year. And the more money you put in, the sooner you could get your money back. This all sounds a little too good to be true and a little scammy, right? Well, it gets worse. Bitconnect also had an affiliate program, and the graphic explaining it is literally in the shape of a pyramid. It's like they were trying to tell you that this was a pyramid scheme. So let's say you refer someone named Bob to Bitconnect, and Bob earns $100 using the platform. You would then earn 7% of that, so $7. But let's say Bob refers someone else named Bill, you would get 3% of whatever Bill earns too, and so on. Despite all the red flags, people still bought in, because Bitconnect's price had been steadily rising for months, and some people were actually able to cash out their returns. Not to mention, Bitconnect had big plans, namely that they were going to release a debit card that would allow you to spend Bitconnect and Bitcoin anywhere. They also, for some reason, released 2 Bitconnect music videos and had plans to make a full album, which is absolutely something I look for before investing in a coin. Yeah, I don't remember Bitcoin dropping any bangers. I think I should probably sell. I'd love to watch the videos, as I'm sure they're beyond cringe, but unfortunately, they've been deleted from the internet. Getting back on track, you might be wondering, what is the point of Bitconnect coin anyway? Coins like Bitcoin are meant for transactions and storing your money to try and counter inflation, or at least that's the hope one day. Ethereum has things like NFTs, but Bitconnect really had nothing. The only reason it had value was because of their lending and staking platforms. Nobody actually used Bitconnect for anything. The second they got a payout, they'd either lend it out to other people or cash it out for Bitcoin. So people started to catch on that this might be a scam, namely the authorities. The UK wanted them to prove their legitimacy or shut down, and the US sent them 2 different cease and desist letters. On January 16th, the team announced that as a result of this, they'd be shutting down their lending service effective immediately. In the span of just a few weeks, the price of Bitconnect plummeted all the way from $450 to just $6. It's believed in the weeks leading up to this shutdown, Bitconnect founders were cashing out the Bitcoin they were paid in exchange for Bitconnect coins. When it was all said and done, the SEC alleged that Bitconnect defrauded investors of over $2 billion, making it to this day one of the biggest crypto Ponzi schemes ever. There's a lot more to this topic that I could cover, so if you want me to do a full deep dive on Bitconnect, let me know in the comments below. Our next scam actually isn't a coin. If you've ever played Runescape before, you've probably heard of the doubling money scam. It's pretty simple. One player types in public chat claiming that they can double your money for free. All you have to do is trade it to them first, and then after they receive it, they'll trade you back double the amount. In actuality, after trading them the money, the scammer will just log out or ignore you. Despite how simple of a scam it is, it's worked in RuneScape for over 20 years now, and players still fall for it every single day. But when the former president of the United States tweets out that as an act of generosity, he's doubling everyone's Bitcoin, You can trust him, right? Well, I guess he could have been hacked, so. Okay, well, what about other celebrities like Elon Musk, Joe Biden, Kanye West, even Apple are all offering you the same thing on the same day? Someone couldn't have possibly hacked all of them, right? Well, on July 13th, 2020, a team of hackers managed to hijack over 130 high-profile Twitter accounts. You'd think that you'd need some serious credentials to hack that many accounts, but it was surprisingly easy. The group of hackers was actually a bunch of guys in their early 20s, and the mastermind of it all was only 17. Best of all, I don't think any of them had any sort of hacking experience. The 17-year-old managed to gain access to the Twitter customer service portal, where he could view and access everyone's accounts, not with his great hacking skills, but with social engineering. He simply convinced a Twitter employee who worked in the IT department that he also worked for Twitter and needed credentials to access the portal. The 17-year-old then got the rest of the people in this scam on board by lying to them and telling them that he worked for Twitter and sent screenshots over Discord of the portal. They didn't seem to have anything to do with breaking into the accounts, they just agreed to be middlemen for whatever Bitcoin the 17-year-old could steal. July 13th rolls around and all the compromised accounts start sending out doubling Bitcoin tweets. By the time Twitter caught on to what was happening and stopped it, the Bitcoin address from all the tweets had received over 110,000 USD worth of Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin, at least in the media, is portrayed as this super anonymous currency that's impossible to track, which actually couldn't be farther from the truth. It seems the 17-year-old hacker had the same perception, and it's ultimately what led to him being caught. When you sign up for cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase and Binance, you need to provide a lot of personal information to prove who you are. In most cases, you have to provide something like a driver's license or social security number. Well, it turns out the wallet address used in the scam belonged to a Binance account, which was the 17-year-old hacker's. When signing up for the account, the 17-year-old used his driver's license to verify his identity, and I think you know what happened next. I think what makes this hack even more interesting is that it could have been so much worse. $110,000 is nothing compared to other scams on this list, but to get that small amount, it involved hacking the world's most famous and powerful people. This kid could have literally just hacked one account, let's say Elon Musk's, tweeted out that Tesla was completely bankrupt from dumping all their cash into Dogecoin or something. He could then pick up a ton of Tesla stock on the cheap, and once everyone figured out it was a trick, wait for the price to shoot back up and sell. He probably wouldn't have ever been caught for it either. Or I don't know, he could just start World War III on the president's account or something. Our next scam is actually the oldest one on this list, from all the way back in August 2011. Bitcoin was worth less than $5 and was down big from its $27 all-time high just a few months prior. People were getting antsy and wanted to find a way to make their money back. This was where a user on the Bitcoin forums named PirateEat40 comes in. He posted a topic called First Pirate Savings and Trust. By depositing your Bitcoin with Pirate, he would use it to generate 7% weekly returns for you. Something unheard of really even in crypto. Getting 7% a year on the stock market is a good return. So this was insane, assuming it was real. Well, how could he earn this ridiculous 7% a week? On the forum post, he claimed that he would use the coins for market arbitrage and private loans, which again, 7% a week seems a little fishy, even for a pirate. Unsurprisingly, the first reply to this thread was, "Smells like a scam." Even so, people trusted Pirate. He was well known and active on the Bitcoin forums and said part of your balance could be withdrawn at any time. As a result, he managed to raise 764,000 Bitcoins, which was $4.5 million at the time, and you know, a cool 32 billion today. As you could guess, even back then, that was a ton of Bitcoin. This was no small-time forum post. As he grew, he changed the name of the business from First Pirate Savings and Trust to Bitcoin Savings and Trust. Everything seemed to be going great until mysteriously in August of 2012, Pirate announced that he was closing down the service. He claimed it had gotten too big for him to handle and made up a bunch of technical nonsense about how his transactions were being delayed because he had too many coins or something. Now, I mentioned a minute ago that this was a big operation, so much so that when Pirate closed this service, it sent the entire Bitcoin market into a frenzy. By now, many users in the community had come to believe Pirate was running a Ponzi scheme, but they also thought, What if it was real? At one point, he had in his possession about 7% of the world's existing bitcoins, all of which would be returned to its original owners with interest and potentially dumped right back onto the markets. Just an hour after the news broke that Pirate was shutting down, Bitcoin's price dropped 33% in value, from $15 all the way down to $10. Others also worried that even if it was a Ponzi scheme, this fiasco would make Bitcoin look bad, lead to people's uncertainty in the future, and cause even more price drops. But not soon after, it was discovered that the doubters were right. It was in fact a Ponzi scheme. He paid back a few small investors, maybe to buy more time, but a week and a half after announcing the closure of Bitcoin Savings and Trust, he announced he could no longer pay everyone back. Who would have guessed a guy with a pirate username and profile picture stole money from people? Turns out he was running pretty much the exact definition of a Ponzi scheme. You know how I said earlier you could withdraw some of your funds at any time? He was just using new investors' money to pay older investors who withdrew. Simple as that. But that's not all he was doing with their money. He wasn't actually loaning it out to people or doing some high-level matrix market manipulation to earn the money. He just spent it. First, it was on the usual stuff like rent and food, but he also used it for a $1,000 steakhouse dinner, spa trips, gambling, and a BMW M5. Clearly, all essential expenses to keep the business going. Ultimately, Pirate was sentenced to a year and a half in prison for this scheme and had to forfeit $1.23 million in restitution. Now, if you're curious about more cool crypto history, check out the video I made about Henry Ford's energy currency from 1923. It actually has quite a few similarities to Bitcoin. Thanks for watching.